Recording in progress.
Hi, so today's video is going to be about cord cutting. Cord cutting has to do with whenever we have energetic cords or hooks tied to us, or I shouldn't say tied, connected to us. They can connect to any of our chakras, any of our body parts. We can have multiple cords from the same person. We can send out multiple cords. Also, I need to apologize. There's people doing yard work and they're taking out cement, so there's a really loud jackhammer in the background. Sorry. But anyways, cord cutting is really, really important because when people form energy cords with one another, usually they're created from a good space. But then when things go south or sour, or person A ends up going through a rough stretch in life, it might impact person B because person B is now absorbing person A's emotions, and they're not the second person's emotions, they're the first person's emotions. And that's not healthy for our energy systems to be in a push and pull relationship with another person, because we need our energy within us. It's our energy for a reason. And this can manifest as, for example, I had an ex-boyfriend that we were so bittersweet, our story, and we broke up like I think 10 or 11 years ago. But for about 9 years, we would see each other once a year, and we would text maybe once every 6 months, and it was never sexual or anything like that. Like, we were both respectful of one another's relationships. However, like, we just kept coming back to each other, and like, we never spoke about like the what ifs or any of that. It was just this bittersweet, like, almost like really deep soulmate friendship type thing. We had a really deep friendship. And so anyways, I had a cord cutting done several years ago, and he was one of the cords that came up, and I was ready to let go because I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is just so hard, and neither one of us is in a space to really prosper and enjoy love, And so I did the cord cutting, and then all of my obsessive thoughts stopped, all of my what ifs stopped, all my self blame stopped, like, all of it stopped like overnight. And then it was so interesting because he didn't know I did a cord cutting. And so the next morning, hadn't heard from him in about 6 months, and he was like, it was all your fault, the relationship ended the way it ended. He's like, I can't believe you did what you did, and you always chose so and so over me, and yada yada. But that was the first time he had ever expressed anger at me for how things had ended. And I mean, to me, it was a very powerful message from the universe that the cord cutting was complete. And when you do cord cuttings, it's not just about cutting cords, it's also about healing. Like, you want to heal whatever part of you allowed yourself to be corded to. And usually that ties back to parents and attachment styles. And a lot of people are not educated about attachment styles or childhood trauma, or they wear rose-colored glasses because they were raised that family is everything, and if they point out any negative pattern that a parent had, then they might all of a sudden be the scapegoat or the outsider or the traitor or whatever. So a lot of people kind of just don't realize that we have unhealthy patterns that stem from our parents in childhood, and then that can manifest into cords forming. And I mean, that's not like all cases with cords, but it's a good example of the root of why cords form. So then when you're doing cord cutting, you want to be really specific about who you want to cut cords with, and then you want to like ask yourself or journal some questions out about like, what negative patterns did you develop in this relationship, or what negative patterns did you project onto this person, and really just like be honest with yourself and evaluate the whole thing from a very bird's eye point of view, not from like your ego. Because if you're doing it from your ego, then it's like you're not responsible for anything, and that's not how it is. We live in a free will world, and we engage in a relationship with another person, and we make decisions that aren't the healthiest, and they do too. And it's because it helps us in our ultimate soul learning plan, to learn the things we came here to learn. So just like evaluate and sit with it. And sometimes it might take a couple of weeks to really like bring back those memories, because maybe we had really toxic relationships that we want to escape from, so we repressed the memories. But once your subconscious realizes that you're willing to work on those parts of you, it will start giving you tidbits of information about that relationship and time in your life, so that way you can release it. And when you're releasing and doing cord work, especially like on a conscious level like that, where you're evaluating things, it's totally normal to cry. It's totally normal to have long repressed emotions of like grief and anger come up, confusion, sorrow, feelings of being lost, like anything you repressed in that time frame. Once your subconscious mind deems that it's safe to go ahead and experience these feelings that you hadn't processed through before, the subconscious will allow them to come up, and it's normal, and you just need to sit with them and honor them. Like, you might be tired for absolutely no reason for a day, and that's totally cool. You might cry for a whole day. That's cool too. The crying is just the past being released from your body. Don't get caught up on it and be like, oh, like what if, and redraw that energy to you, because that's not the point of cord cutting and freeing yourself from stuff. And so yeah, that's a bit of like the dynamics or foundations of like knowledge about cord cutting. I'll also leave some articles in the description box that you can follow up on and read about cord cutting. And cord cutting, it's best done by another practitioner when you're first doing it. As you become more aware of your energy in your body, you can do it yourself. However, when someone else's energy is inside of your body, you do not have like an impartial view on the energy cord, so therefore you can't cut the cord, because their energy is not going to let you cut the cord. It takes extreme will to cut through cords if it's your first time, and most of us, when we're first working on cords, we're not in a place where we have that extreme will and focus to cut the cords fully. We might like do a cut and then it's still there, and so it's just better to get it done and done with a practitioner where it's someone impartial. I've had to do 2 cord cutting sessions with someone else, and both were very powerful. The one with my ex-boyfriend, it wasn't just him. Come to find out, I had a cord with my little brother, who is a recovering addict, and the cord had formed during like the worst of his addiction days, and I was so stressed out and like stress sick from him all the time because I was so worried about him. Little did I know his energy was in my body, and that's probably part of why I was like so stress sick, you know. And then like I would lose sleep if I missed a phone call from him, because I was like, oh my god, what if he dies? Or, you know, like I would guilt myself all the time, which was probably me feeling his energy possibly guilting me at that time, you know, because his energy was in me, so therefore my feelings are influenced by the other person's feelings. And then the other little brother that I had a cord with, he was one of my very young little brothers, and there was a really nasty falling out with my father and my stepmom and I. And this little brother was probably the one I was the most attached to, because he was so cute and cuddly. And anyways, like I would stay up late at night, like drinking and like practicing toxic behaviors, because I was coping with a lot of pain at the time. But I would stay up drinking and watching like TV, just playing videos of me babysitting my siblings in my head over and over and over, just entertaining the pain and the loss. And it was really hard for me. I lost a lot of sleep grieving my siblings, and then when I got the cord cut with that little brother, I stopped replaying the videos as much in my head, and I was able to sleep better. And with both brothers, I was able to like not feel terrible about what had happened with my dad's side of the family, and not feel guilty about the other little brother. And so yeah, it was a very, very powerful experience, also like paired with like the ex-boyfriend, because then with the ex-boyfriend, we basically stopped talking after he like said what he said the next day, and then I never reached out to him again, and I didn't catch myself like feeling those bittersweet feelings and the what ifs or anything. And I think it's been about 2 or 3 years now where we haven't really had contact at all, and I feel good about it, and it's just been such a blessing. And with him, it makes me think of like when people talk about the one that got away and stuff like that. Usually, the one that got away, there probably is maybe some type of unhealthy energy between the two, and that's why you feel it so deeply, because there's cords and influence of the other person's energy in your system. And then another powerful cord cutting that I had done was with my biological mother. It was several years ago also. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. I think it might be the candle that I have lit. But with her, we had a very strange relationship growing up. I was raised by my grandma, her mom, and so she and I were more like sisters, and there always felt like there was a sense of competition with us, and I always felt like not good enough for her. And I would try so hard to get her to like love me the way that I needed her to love me, but she emotionally neglected me because she was working through her own stuff. And apparently when I had this cord cutting, there was a total of 8 cords removed between her and I. It was a very toxic push and pull relationship, and I had a really hard time before that cord cutting because I had had my first hip surgery, which when your body's injured, the energy will lock up in the injured body parts, and you'll have more flare-ups and stuff, especially if there's like unhealthy energy, or if there's someone that has like kind of malicious intent towards you, which my biological mother does have malicious intent toward me. And so I was struggling physically. I was having a lot of extra aches and pains and inflammation and swelling during that time, and so much heartbreak with how she treated me during my surgery. And when I did that cord cutting, I was still recovering from surgery, so I was laying in bed, and it was so strange because I knew that it was a distance session, and so I knew the practitioner was going to start sometime in the afternoon. I just didn't know what time, and that was fine because I was like laid out in bed recovering, so it's not like I had anything to do, you know. So then I remember grabbing my Mother Mary statue that was next to me on the nightstand, and then I put it on my heart. And then I just started sobbing, like painful, grief-filled sobbing, just heavily for like 30 minutes. And I didn't know where it came from. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then when I checked my phone after I had quit sobbing, the practitioner had messaged me, and she was like, how are you feeling? I just cut cords with you and your mother. There were 8 cords, and it was a lot of energy to move out. And then I looked at Mother Mary, and then I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh, okay, like the cords are cut, and thank you, Mother Mary, for coming through to kind of like comfort me during such intense grief as my energy came back to me and as my malicious mother's energy left me, you know. So it was a very, very powerful experience for me. And then, I've done a few cord cuttings on myself. Sometimes I have to cut cords just to clear my energy field, and I'll do that with candle magic and during like a full moon. And usually I'll take a pair of scissors and like these, and I'll just like, if the candle is lit, I would just like cut around it to cut all the cords attached to me, and I would call upon the full moon and Archangel Haniel and Archangel Gabriel to come forth and hold space for me as I cut these cords and return the energy back to people. And then I also would use herbs and oils to help, because plants have healing properties as well. We just have to engage with our free will and ask them for help. So I do that sometimes, and usually I just do like a little tea light candle. They burn maybe 5 hours. It's not how big the candle is, it's the intention behind the candle. Bigger is not always better, unless like you're trying to do like a 3-day ritual or 7-day ritual or something, then you can use the bigger candles. I wouldn't do that for cord cutting, but I would definitely do that if I was like trying to cleanse my chakras or just really clear out any dense energy I don't resonate with, and then bring in positive energy. I would do that over several days, and then I would probably clean my home energetically, take a salt bath, go out in nature and ground, and just really dig deep into a practice every day that the candle is lit to really show that my intentions are like pure and strong and like I'm taking this seriously. So yeah, that's like my take on the bigger candles. I know there's a lot of other takes on that, and that's totally fine. And with cord cutting, also people, some people think that if they cut cords, that like they're gonna lose the people forever. Like that can happen. However, if it's like a healthy relationship, and the cords are just getting cut, since the relationship is healthy in the first place, the person will still be in your life. Like it only removes that which you've outgrown and that which isn't serving you anymore. And if someone's an energy vampire, they might lash out. You might not even know they're an energy vampire, especially if you're like an empath and kind of oblivious to that. Which when you're in your disempowered empath days, you're not as aware of energy vampires as when you're in your empowered empath days. So they might be kind of nasty to you if you cut cords with them because they just lost their energy supply. However, that's okay, and I mean, that right there is something you can work on with cord cutting is people pleasing. Like, why does it matter if you lose this person? This person is not you. This person does not define you. You define yourself. You are a child of God. You are an image of God. Anything outside of that really should not matter. Like, it's normal to like have feelings of like hurt if you lose someone you care about, but the feelings of hurt are based in like loss of a relationship. They shouldn't be your hurt because all of a sudden your self-image is crumbling because this person left. You should not have a self-image built on other people's views and expectations of you, which a lot of us, if we have anxious attachment styles or avoidant attachment styles or disorganized attachment styles, we have some type of thing where we might put our worth on other people because it's our inner child kind of governing how we see the world. So we have to like reparent ourselves, but that's like a whole other conversation. So it's okay if people vanish, and when cord cutting, you might find you have a lot more clarity about things. You're way more in your body, you're way more grounded. Certain people don't have a hold over you like they used to. You got to be careful though, because cords can reform. Like I just had to tell one of my brothers that he did a cord cutting and then he went right back to the person that he was cutting cords with. And when you do that, like, you're not taking yourself or your energy seriously, and those cords will form right away, and that's on you, and that's for you to work through. Cord cutting or cords can create a sense of codependency, and they can create like a sense of like loss of self, especially if you have a lot of cords attached to you, which I've seen quite a few cords on some people. And when that happens, your body starts to like give you the warning signs, and if you're not listening, then you're gonna have all kinds of aches and pains and ailments trying to tell you like to call your energy back, to go within, to meditate, to read up on the mind-body connection. Like your body is trying to talk to you like, hey, I need this energy, I don't want this person's energy, I want my own energy. And a lot of people get mad at their body when their body has aches and pains and stuff, but your body is just trying to communicate with you, and that's the only way that it can communicate with you. If you choose to ignore what it's saying to you, then it's kind of like shame on you, because you're ignoring the signs. And I know that's like not taught. However, you can self-teach and become self-aware and learn the messages your body is sending you. Like that saying like, oh, so-and-so is a pain in the neck. That could very well be your body's way of like, hey, this person has a cord attached to me, I don't like this pain in the neck. And you're just like, oh, it's my pillow, it's my mattress. And really, it's that pain in the neck person that is like latching onto you, like things like that. So yeah, I think that's all I got on cord cutting. Sorry if I seem a little scattered, the jackhammer is like pulling my attention away. I did pull cards before this session to see what the viewers would benefit from hearing about for their own soul journey stuff. So the first card I pulled was Imagination, and it says, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So there's the Imagination card. And it says, by its very nature, the physical body is limited by the 3 dimensions, but your mind is free to travel without boundaries and merge with the cosmic consciousness. Your mind is the great creator, and your imagination is its toolbox. Everything in life begins with the energy of imagination. Thoughts are real, and they can manifest themselves into the physical world. So cords can form from thoughts. Cords form from like I love you thoughts, I hate you thoughts, like I never want to be separated thoughts, and then it can manifest in the physical because you can be feeling physically sick when you're fighting with someone because you guys are corded to each other, or like that whole pain in the neck thing. Train your mind to only have positive thoughts, and you will attract positivity into your life. If you can see it, you can be it. Visualize the components that you want in your life and imbue those thoughts with love, and they will become your reality. Conversely, if your mind strays to negative thoughts, you will only bring that energy to you. This goes with people, and this goes with places, this goes with things. Like energy attracts like energy. Be positive and loving. Imagination is creativity. Express yourself and let your imagination assist you in letting go of any creative blocks. Sometimes people can be creative blocks because if they're plugged into you, you're now picking up their hobbies and interests in your energy field, and now your stuff is getting kind of blocked and stagnant, and that could be an indicator of like needing to remove cords as well. And allow your dreams to come true. Remember, you are not doing this for other people. It is your soul opening up and singing its own unique song. Yeah, remember, you're not doing this for other people. Other people should not be corded to you in any shape, way, or form. The only time I think it's possibly okay is like if it's like an acute situation, like someone is in a car accident and they're hanging on for dear life, and the first person that shows up to call 911 might be the person that the dying person cords to energetically to get that life force energy flowing through them to survive. And then who knows, they could be strangers and that cord could stay with them forever, and that's why it would be good to go to an energy practitioner, because in that moment it was okay, like the person was trying to survive and the other person's energy field was open to being corded to, probably because of like adrenaline and whatnot. But it's not fair to the rescuer to have that person corded to them the rest of their life, like cut the cords. So yeah, imagination, which cord cutting does require visualization, which is imagination as well. The other card I pulled was freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. That's a pretty one. Your soul is open to receiving new wisdom and insights that will allow it to make the right choices for its own growth. Remember, you are never a victim of other people or their circumstances. The one that got away, or why did they do this to me? I can't get over them. Like, they're always in my thoughts. I dream of them. I'm obsessed with them. That's all cords, and you are not a victim of other people or their circumstances. You can take your power back. You can call your energy back. You can cut cords. You can return their energy back to them. You just got to do the research and find a way that resonates with you in order to free yourself. You have complete control over your own choices. By following your heart and being authentic to yourself, you present the real you to the world. Making decisions based on other people's expectations is not the true path to happiness. So again, like energy cords, a lot of times people are influenced by them, and then they people please and do all these things based off of other people, and they don't have to do that. And I'm not saying every single people pleaser has like a million energy cords, but those people that mean the most to us, sometimes you'd be surprised how that shifts once you cut the cords. Like, they only mean the most because their energy's in you, if that makes sense. You are responsible for creating your own reality. When a soul shifts to a place of honoring itself in its totality, free from judgment, only then will it find its true freedom. Every soul is unique and follows its own path. Don't give in to peer pressure or the urge to fit in. Don't give in to the influence of someone else's energy. There is no energy stronger than your own energy. You just got to step into it and own it. You are the only one who truly knows the real you, so feel free to march to the beat of your own drummer. And when you're free of energy cords, guess what? You are marching to your own beat, and you are marching to your own drummer, and you are not influenced by someone else's energy anymore. So then you really do get to explore and learn the real you. So yeah, I don't know. And along with cord cutting, I think it would be very valuable for people to do reclaiming your power meditations and calling back energy meditations. That way there's a balance of like cutting cords, but your energy is coming back to you. Because sometimes it's been gone for so long, your energy might not realize like, oh, space has been freed up in my owner, I can come home now, you know? So yeah. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful, and I'm grateful to be able to present this information for you. And you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook at Flow and Glow Reiki. And check out my Etsy, etsy.com/shop/Flow and Glow Reiki. I have candles, soap bars, smudge sprays, grounding sprays, essential oil roll-ons, wonderful salt scrubs, all available on Etsy. Alright, take care, be well, aho.